What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Week 3 almost in the books. We're recording this should be out prior to the Monday night game. So if you're listening to this Tuesday morning or after, hope it was a better Monday night game than a Sunday night game for you guys. And we got more than 21 points on the boards. How putrid was that, JJ Wang?
Well, is this the second game that Denver's had a primetime game? Is this the second time this year?
You threw me under the bus early. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had their first week was in primetime, I think.
Was it that Monday night game?
I think so. And this is already the second prime.
The Raiders.
They play Seattle. Remember they played
Seattle. The Russell Wilson.
Yeah. So, and this is already two complete duds on primetime football from the Broncos. Man, I can't have this. We need to place other stuff.
Crazy stuff. But hey, we are the Fantasy Couriers. You can hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, email thefantasycouriers@gmail.com. You got the website, thefantasycouriers.wixsite.com/website. If you picked up none of that, it's all in the linear notes. You can pop on there. The website has my rankings. The website has a link to everything and anything you'll need. And actually, all of our Instagram posts pop up there at the bottom of the website. It's a pretty cool thing they got there. We're still getting the ads because we're not big time yet. When we're big time, we'll pay to remove the ads. Until then, we're keeping the ads.
Gotta pay the bills, man.
Gotta pay the bills. So before we get into JJ Wang's games of the week, information of the week, I posted who stunk it up for you this week. If clever comments, I'll recite it on the podcast tonight. Greg had one of my favorites. DJ, I wish he did more. He must listen to Monday Punday with the footballers. Rashad, I took the bait man from Chris Mortensen. Chris Mortensen, I want to hear more from you. That's awesome. It'd be cool if that was the real Chris Mortensen. I know it's not. And then a couple of them popped up that I'm sure you're going to pop up later, so I'm not going to mention those guys. Steve from one of our leagues said, the entire Rancid Raiders team, who would have thought 0-3? I mean,
I was wrong on that one.
I was mowing today listening to the footballers talking about the fact that the NFC West, I didn't even think about it looking at AFC West rather, how excited we were and how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's like every time we jump on board with something, that's usually how it goes. You jump on board with something that's supposed to be great, and it usually lets you down. Nothing hardly ever lives up to the hype, like ever.
Well, except for the Fantasy Couriers.
Oh, yeah, I said hardly. I'm not saying nothing. I'm saying hardly anything lives up to the hype. So, yeah, I mean, they're all playing like, I don't want to say garbage, but they're playing like garbage.
Rich said JJJC, CW, 9 sacks. Nick Foles' number was 9. And MS, no, not the disease. So you can figure those out if you want to figure out the code that Rich had in there as we're going. But Fantasy Courier Nation, as we get ready to start your games, has grown this week. I saw Israel pop up on the thing. So we're going global. And this morning I was at the orthodontist and he saw my Dolphins jersey. I was excited. I hope you're going to talk about that later on in the day, how amazing the Dolphins are this year. But
so honestly, I'm going to be real with you.
Oh, they were incredible.
The Dolphins were awesome as far as a team goes, but fantasy goes, they were garbage. So this is a fantasy show. I'm not bringing up a lot of garbage on my episode here today. So if you want to say anything about your Dolphins victory, just go ahead, shout out, whatever you got to do.
Well, then there we go. We were at the orthodontist this morning, and the ortho and I, we always talk about movies and stuff. He's like, "Oh, you're a Dolphins fan? How'd that happen?" So I told him the whole story, and then he's like, "Hey, do you do fantasy football?" I'm like, "Do I do fantasy football?" I said, "We even have a podcast." I gave him a sticker. He's like, "Well, check out my team." What should I do? His quarterback was Russ Wilson, so we were trying to figure out who to drop so he could pick up T-Law, who was on the bench because it's a one quarterback league. But hey, shout out to my kid's orthodontist down at Modern Orthodontics. Fun time. But yeah, the Dolphins, it was a better real life game. I was on the edge of my seat. The defense bent but didn't break. Jalen Waddle was basically the start. I think I might be right in the fact that he could have better long term for the year than Tyreek is what I'm starting to see.
We said this going in. I mean, this is obvious. This is what you get out of Tyreek. Boom. A bust. I mean, this is what Tyreek does, is pretty much done his whole career, even with Pat Mahomes. And let me tell you, the Dolphins aren't throwing the ball 50 times. This is what you're going to get every week. And if you look at the box score and don't look at the score of the game, Buffalo Bill, you would assume Buffalo Bills won this game. Time of
Buffalo.
possession, yards, but they just didn't score the touchdowns. Like, kudos to the Dolphins defense. They're
Yeah.
the real stars of the game.
And Buffalo game script to just slow it down because they saw that what the Dolphins can do is that quick shot to Jalen Waddle and whatnot. So, but yeah, it was a great week for me. My Dolphins beat the Bills, so we're in sole possession of first place, and my Guardians qualified as the AL Central champions. But enough
All right. So
about
that is enough Dolphins talk because they aren't fantasy relevant this week. So we will move on. What?
one thing for you before you get ready. Are you ready?
Sure.
I forgot that I need to share screen, but yeah. So they are fantasy relevant. If you had Chase Edmonds, which was kind of weird.
Weekend review. What happened? What do we think? What does it mean?
Go for it, JJ Wang.
All right. So first, I'm gonna start out with a couple shout outs here. A couple guys that we don't talk about a lot, but I think it's worth giving them a shout out here. My first one goes to Kyle Pitts, dude. Shout out to you for letting us know you can still play football. Got anything quick about Kyle Pitts?
Hey, I think it popped up on a couple of the threads, but who's going to blow up this week that you thought was bad last week? I think we all hoped and saw it coming. Now the question is, will it happen against any other teams that aren't as terrible as Seattle? I think so. The talent's there, and tight end landscape is so desolate. He'll still be viable.
Oh, absolutely. And my next one, shout out to Cam Akers taking over the RB1 in Los Angeles. How about that?
Oh, I was excited, except for the fact that I have a team that's so terrible. I started him and Henderson. So, Henderson, it's been nice. I can't wait to see who you play for next year so that you can get a starting gig again. But it is the Cam Akers show. Go Knowles.
Yep. Next one is a kind of a combo here. Shout out to DK Metcalf and his quarterback. What's his name? I just Geno Smith. Geno Smith actually looked decent, so shout out to him, and then shout out to DK Metcalf for also letting us know that you can still play football.
As I said about Kyle Pitts, we'll find out next week because you can't play the Atlanta Falcons every week. I can shout out DK. I'm starting to grow on some DK, but Geno, you are my 3 quarterback. We'll see.
My next one, this is everybody's favorite player from the draft, the Romeo Dubs. Shout out to you for looking like a oh my goodness, a real NFL wide receiver and maybe being on Aaron Rodgers' good side.
Oh, you know me and my Romeo Dobbs. I love the guy, and I love that a guy I drafted in May is looking good in September.
And next one, shout out to Laviska Shenault. Didn't even know you still played football. So kudos to you, buddy.
I actually had him almost picked up prior to the game just to stash on a team where I had a bunch of rosters because of a trade. I traded for Josh Allen like 10 minutes before the start of the day, and I was filling rosters. Like, man, I should have put Visco on there. We'll see what happens, though. It was a long bomb.
Yep, next shout out. This is another combo. Shout out to Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert for being new RB1s for the foreseeable future. So if you've got either one of those guys, I think Scott sent in a question last week who he should have started, Jamal Williams or Logan Thomas. He said he floated to somewhere else. Probably should have went with Jamal Williams on that. So you'd definitely be starting him next week.
Oh, I got some Jamal Williams. I got one Jamal Williams share, and we'll see what happens. I'm hearing what could be with Montgomery. Who knows if Herbert goes on, or if I've heard is Herbert going to be the next Alexander Madison until Montgomery moves on? Who knows?
I mean, it's possible. So we'll start with our little conversation piece here. First thing I want to start off with is the leader in the AFC South, looking like the best team, and that's Jacksonville Jaguars. I want to hear your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence, finally looking like that guy we thought he was going to be. James Robinson, obviously, still the man. ETN looking explosive. And then those wide receivers. The wide receivers are actually looking good.
That team looks confident. I would never in a million years have predicted that was what was going to happen in that game. Like, I knew the Chargers would not be our regular Chargers because Herbert was going to play because he's stubborn, but was not going to be what he was. But they just rolled that game. They walked in there like they were the big man on campus, and they took the Chargers to the woodshed. So shout out, Lawrence looked confident. Zay Jones, Who saw that coming?
Yeah,
And
I don't think anybody saw. I mean, of course, Christian Kirk, another good game. Like James Robinson. I mean, it's looking like they're actually good. So hey, congratulations to them. So I got four receivers here. Two of them, and they're kind of taking different paths. I mean, they're elite wide receivers, but they're kind of going on different paths here. The first ones I'll go with Chase and Jefferson.
oh,
Are you worried?
it's week 3, so I'm petrified. But I probably shouldn't be. I have my I have a team where I started Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and it was someone else who pooped the bed. And I got Josh Allen this week, and my team still got. I might still squeak it out, but Justin Jefferson, I'm a little more scared than I am with Chase. Chase is squeaking out the touchdowns. I think he's going to be okay, except this week. I mean, Xavier Howard, is going to shut him down. No, he'll still get his. I mean, we're giving up. We're bending, not breaking on defense, but they are not looking currently like what we thought they looked. We thought these two dudes were going to dominate the landscape. Justin Jefferson was my wide receiver 1 week of a wide receiver dud, okay. 2 weeks of a wide receiver dud, come on, man. What is meant? Are they just triple team? I didn't watch the game in really closely while it was going on, but were they like blanketing him and just or is he not getting open? Like it's I don't understand how you have 3. So he had 6 targets only too, but the fourth target, Irv Smith had as many for 3 receptions, 14. Like the Lions aren't that good.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, maybe their defense is a little better. But like I said, maybe like we had such high hopes for Chase and Jefferson going. I think that's where it stems from. We were expecting these guys to just blow it up every week, and
I don't think we expected 3 for 14 from a premier receiver. Like a bad week for a premier receiver would be like 4 for 40. 3 for 14, or what did you get last week? 2 for 12 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been bad. It's been bad. So the next two guys are in opposite directions on the same team: Devonta Smith and AJ Brown. I mean, how confident are you on in this duo?
I think that they're fine. You look at AJ Brown, as you're saying, I'm trying to make sure I got my numbers right here. AJ Brown still had a good game. And you know me, I'm not an AJ Brown guy, never have been, but I always end up with the dude somehow because he just falls so far. But AJ Brown still had 5 for 85 and a touch. Devonta Smith 8 for 169 and a touch. That combo is why Hurts is good, because what they can do is just go back and forth. 12 targets for Smith, 10 for Brown. That's what he's got to do, because honestly, after them, it's Goddard, and then So they've got to be successful for the Eagles to continue this undefeated stretch they're running on. And I'm not worried at all about Brown. I'm not worried at all about Smith. I wasn't worried week 1. I thought that was weird that Smith had that. He had the drop, and then to get 0 was more odd to me than the fact that he outdueled Brown, because I think they do have 2 decent receivers that they had to realize they got to feed both of them, not just feed Brown like they did week 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, they're looking like the only 2 options that he really wants to throw to. So I mean, as long as the Eagles are rolling this way, I mean, it's wheels up for these guys.
One of those guys gets hurt, AJ Brown gets a standard injury, they're done.
Could be, yeah.
I really worry what would happen if he's got to stay healthy in those knees.
Yeah. So I want to dive into your rankings a little bit here, and I got to ask a couple players and where you think is going to happen to these guys. So we got Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray. Are these guys falling in the rankings at all? Because Kyler Murray doesn't look good.
That's it. I was just starting to look at them. Kyler, I have not faded as much as I have faded Russell. Legs still keep me there thinking they're going to be like, dude, Kyler can run. And he plays the Panthers this week. So Kyler is still currently, and this isn't my final rankings. I'm still tweaking them going. I just started right prior to this. But I have Kyler at 5. But this week is a bad matchup for a lot of guys. But legs.
Watching Kyler play, man, he does not look like
2 weeks ago, fantasy-wise, he doesn't look. But 2 weeks ago, fantasy, he was fine.
Oh yeah, fantasy, yeah. But he plays that kind of game where he's Tyreek Hill of the quarterbacks, right? He's just feels like he's boom or bust. He just makes some terrible plays sometimes. Okay, that's a lot of people, but he just doesn't look like that top 5 guy to me.
It's funny. I'm looking at the quarterback defenses they're playing this week. It's crazy to think Lamar, who a lot of people have ranked 1, plays against the Buffalo defense. I'm sliding him down to 2 and Allen at 1. But your question was about Russ. I'm trying to figure out how low to put Russ.
Yeah, right.
I am in full-blown freak-out mode for Russ Wilson. He's playing the Raiders. They're not anything spectacular. They made Tannehill look decent. Right now, currently, and I have him at 16, right, surrounded by Carr at 15 and Brady at 17. And after that's like Daniel Jones, Mariota, Winston Wentz, Mills, Garoppolo. So he's 16, and I might fade him more depending upon what Daniel Jones shows tonight. I mean, Daniel Jones has been a decent, you want him for your 3, but you could put him in a 2 if you need to. I'm in total freak out Russ mode. If he was my number 1, he would be benched for the time being. I'm talking with our boy Jared. He's like, dude, I'm starting golf from now on. I said, yeah. I want to find that one of my snippets and play it later on in the season just so I can feel smart with how much I love to golf and how I was going to buy that shirt from Kohl's. Remember that episode?
Yeah.
I'm a golfer, but yeah, I got Russ faded big time.
All right, so I got a couple running backs. Well, actually, I got 4 running backs here, all a little on the older side. So let me hear what you think. So I got Cordero Patterson, who killed it, and so then we got Eckler, Kamara, and then Derrick Henry. So does Cordero Patterson finish above all those guys in fantasy this year?
I don't think so. I'm still we vary on our Henry beliefs.
Well, okay, so let's stop right there. I think this is where we're going to argue the most. All right, so let's just get that one out of the way. We're going to talk about Derrick Henry. All right, so Derrick Henry has 3 subpar games, saved by somewhere out of the blue, 5 catches for 58 yards. I mean, if that's the new Derrick Henry, fine, but I feel like that's not the new Derrick Henry just by going years past. So if Derrick Henry's only getting you, 80 yards, averaging like 3.5 yards a carry, and maybe rolls in for a 1-yard touchdown. I mean, that's not impressive.
8 plus 6 is 14, and then let's give him a catch. That's 15 points a week. It's not superior, but
Whoa. Okay, hold on. You're saying 15 points a week, like that's what you expect out of Derrick Henry. You don't have Derrick Henry on your team expecting 15 points a week. Everybody is expecting Derrick Henry to give you 20 to 25, just like everybody's expecting that from Christian McCaffrey, and it's just not happening.
Your question for me was, of those 4, who will be better? I have him above Patterson. Patterson, I owe you an apology this week. You'll probably owe me an apology next week. I mean, Patterson balled out this week. But once again, Seattle, he was playing the Seattle high school football team Seahawks. Last week, he pooped the bed. Like, he was covered in poop. He was terrible.
So I'm guessing Derrick Henry hasn't played a bad team yet?
Derrick Henry played the Raiders, who were supposedly decent and rolled good, but Derrick Henry hasn't played the Seahawks yet.
Yeah, you're right, but let's not ignore the fact that Derrick Henry played. He didn't play that great. He got some random catches that have never happened in his career, and other than that, he's looking like a run-of-the-mill running back.
Derrick Henry is not he's a low-end RB1, if that is where I would put him. He got game scripted out of the Bills game because they just rolled them way too early, so nothing was going to happen. And I have no excuses for the Giants game. But I mean, so he played an undefeated team, a team that lost to the only leftover undefeated team, and the Raiders. Next week he's got the Colts. It's going to be a tough defense, and the Commanders. So, I mean, as of the question, Eckler is probably the one that scares me. If you ask who was scared me this for, what in the world happened to Austin? Like, you had me starting to believe in Eckler. He had 4 carries for 5 yards.
I don't know. I've got nothing for that. Kamara's the same way. Like I said, I got nothing for that. Eckler, I thought he would be more involved in the running game. But Eckler had 8 catches. I mean, the catches are there. He's just not getting the runs and the touchdowns like he did last year.
I mean, doesn't that put Eckler right there? So 8 catches. What do you got? Let me see. I've got him up right here. So you got 8 catches. That's the Jaguars. So if Eckler had 4 for 5, that's nothing. Then he had 8 catches for 48. That's 6. If he'd got a touchdown, he'd be without the touchdown. He's the same as Derrick Henry. So I guess they're a push.
Yeah.
And then Cordero Patterson, did he score this week?
I don't know, but I feel like he had like
48 yards,
250 yards, all purpose or something crazy like that.
Yeah, it was 148 rushing and 1 reception. That's the interesting thing about his week this week. Like, so it depends. Is he going to be? Is Tyreek Hill's our Mason Dixon line this week? Is he going to be the Tyreek Hill of running backs? Right, he ran 17 for $141 a touch. So he did get a touchdown. So right there, it's 14. He got 21 points. So he got, and then he had 1 for 12, 22, 23 points would have been his total, and say a full point PPR, 21 and a half or something like that. So he's 6 points bigger. And Kamara, that's a shock to my system. That team looks terrible. Like the Saints could be the most underwhelming team, I think, of the season that isn't manned by Tom Brady.
And now a message from our favorite sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. Now that we are in season, they offer even more fantasy sports options. You can choose to play 4 to 6 round draft contests with up to 10 people. You can even create your own private draft room.
And that's not all. Underdog also offers pick'em fantasy contests where you decide if players will go higher or lower than a listed stat line, from touchdowns to yards to interceptions and many more. It's a fun way to show off your fantasy prowess. Sign up now with the code Couriers and they'll double your first deposit up to $100 in bonus cash.
So, in case you missed that, when you make your first deposit of $10 or more, deposit $100, get $100 FREE.
With their slick mobile app and user-friendly website, you'll have no problem jumping in and drafting your squad or making your best picks.
So join Underdog today, and don't forget to use the code Couriers. A link is in the notes of the podcast.
Now, back to the podcast.
Yeah, so there was that. So I got 3 more things here. I'm going to name off a bunch of guys. So I just want you to tell me what these guys have in common. I got Matt Collins, Olave. What's his first? Chris
Olave.
Chris Olave. I got Russell Gage, Tyler Boyd, Devontae Parker, and Isaiah McKenzie. What do all those have in common?
All of those guys pooped the bed the first 2 weeks and had a great week this week.
Well, that too. But all these guys are like top 10 wide receivers this week. Mm-hmm. And that's why this is why fantasy is so unpredictable, and it's hard to say you know what you're talking about. Yeah, we all like to say we know what we're talking about, and yeah, a couple people might have started Matt Collins, a couple people might have started Olave, but at the end of the day, this is who we're working with in the top 10 this week. Nobody's seen this.
Oh, no. Like, of those guys, if there's a guy on there I might have started this week. I mean, if you have Olave, you probably drafted him, and you probably benched him, but you might have snuck in McKenzie thinking it was going to be a shootout in Buffalo. He'd be the only guy in that bunch. But yeah, Matt Collins, I love that dude. He played for the Dolphins last year, and he's fun. Like, his energy on the field is great, and I hope he continues. I mean, I got some waiver stuff starting up, so if he's on your waiver wire, he's probably waiver wire pick 1 this week, I think.
Oh, absolutely. So switching over to the running backs, I got Singletary, who only had 13 rushing yards, by the way.
I know. He got a lot of catches.
Ramondre Stevenson, Chase Edmonds, Damian Pierce, Samaje Perine. These guys also have something in common. All top 10 running backs. This is what we're dealing with here. It's not McCaffrey. It could be Barkley. They're playing tonight. It's not Derrick Henry. Well, he had a good game. He had a good game this week. But like, these are the guys that you got to be able to sneak in from time to time, and it's hard.
And there's some fool's gold within that bunch.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, there's two in particular, and both in my game. If you look at Chase Edmonds' stat line,
it's awful.
The dude, he got 2 touchdowns. Okay, cool. Chase Edmonds is never going to get 2 touchdowns in a game. Like, Mostert still looks like the guy they want to be good, but Chase Edmonds just was there on the touchdowns. And Singletary, from everything I'm gathering after the game, is he got all of those catches. He's for some reason, they don't play him or like him a lot in Buffalo, but he got all of those because of the Dolphins' pass rush. The Dolphins blitz like a champ, so basically it's like bloop, bloop, and we're too stupid to stop getting it.
Well, so, I'm starting to think that most of these teams in the NFL just don't like running the ball at all.
Yeah.
We're just like the Eagles. Their running game is the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, all those guys. So yeah, the running backs are hard, man. Actually, fantasy's hard. So I'm gonna give you 3 quarterbacks here, and these are actually my top 3 quarterbacks right now as far as fantasy goes, and that's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jalen Hurts. Is that the top 3 quarterbacks right now for fantasy?
Oh, yeah, I think it's them, and then there might be a tier of nothing, and then the rest of the guys. And I could even, yeah, like I just did my rankings, and those are my top three. It's Allen, Jackson, Hurts. I have Mahomes there. I'm worried this week because of Tampa, and it's like I have Kyler and Tua there because of that quick strike. He's going to throw either for five, four. I have Tua that high this week.
All right.
Hey, you look at the stats. He had the most passing yards in the league. And then
He had the most passing, yeah, because he has one 500-yard game.
the other game was 275. This week was low, but he got the touchdown. So it's versus what he's doing on a short week against a Cincinnati Bengals team that doesn't look good. Then you got like Stafford playing the 49ers. I have Golf in the top 10 this week because he's playing the Seahawks. Rodgers hasn't. I mean, look, nobody has been spectacular in the league. If you're looking through that, so it's based upon where they've been. I don't have pulled up yearly rankings. He's a top 5 quarterback right now.
Tua?
Tua is a top 5
Because he's had one top five. Because he's had one
That's
top
what
five.
makes you. It's season long top 5
I
right now.
understand, but if you're looking at games,
Okay,
he's had one game, right?
the first game was a solid game. This game,
Solid. Like I'm saying, top 15. Like he might have been a 15 quarterback, right? And then this week he was a bottom quarterback. So, and then that one week he was the top quarterback. So instead of being somewhere in the middle, you got him at the top, right?
well, look at what you got. So basically, it's those three, and then you got like probably Mahomes and Kyler because Kyler he's kind of like what Hurts was last year, I think. And then it's just a gaggle of people because Herbert's hurt right now. I don't know where to put him.
So it's like I said, I'll be on the Tua train if he throws it 50 times a game. If the game is close, they're not going to throw it 50 times.
Oh, Thursday, I think them and the Bungles are going to throw 50 times a game. I think that's where.
Like I said, if he throws it 50 times, then your rankings are probably right.
That's right. That's the big thing. I'm looking at this week's matchups. I don't like for quarterbacks, and this week basically from like 6 to 20, I don't know why I don't like any of the quarterback matchups. It's crazy, crazy, crazy stuff this year. So, without further ado, the best segment of the week.
Surefire waste of a touchdown.
Now, this week there wasn't as much garbage touchdowns as there have been in the last couple weeks, and a couple of them lead into what could be future players that I'll hit here in a second. But we're going to start out in Baltimore. We have a 1-yard tight end pass. Mark Andrews got his third. Oh, wait, no, that's not him. That's Josh Oliver. Wow. They like their tight ends in Baltimore, but there's one thing for sure. That is a
surefire waste of a touchdown. I didn't even know he was still playing.
Yeah, they just keep tight ends there just to keep tight ends. Like, it's crazy what all they have. We're going to go down to the Carolina game. Baker Mayfield had a 67-yard pass. We alluded to it earlier, and I wanted to put it in here because we would all think it's DJ Moore. Or maybe it's Robbie Anderson.
No. Nobody's thinking this is DJ Moore here because he doesn't score
a touchdown for them. We're looking at Robbie Anderson, probably. Nope, DJ Moore. Nope, maybe it's Christian McCaffrey. But no, out of the blue, it's what was that, a 3-yard pass to Laviska Shenault for 67 yards. I wanted to put it here because he's going to be their new wide receiver 1. So for this week and this week only, it would be a
surefire waste of a touchdown. I mean, this is the first week he's played.
Yeah, so I guess he's learned the playbook but he only got 1 pass, so I'm not getting too excited yet. It's just fun to see Visca do something positive in the league. We're going the putrid, pitiful New Orleans Saints have a 4-yard touchdown pass to a receiver. So it's Michael Thomas getting one for no. Maybe Jawan Johnson's playing good this year. Nope. Oh, a voice from a year or two ago he was one of our waiver wire darlings. Marquez Callaway, 4-yard touchdown. He's not on anybody's roster anymore, I'm sure. So that would make that a
surefire waste of a touchdown, but it was one hell of a catch.
Yeah, the next one, I'm giving a 2 for here just because it wasn't expected until next week. So this guy also won't be on there. So we have rushing touchdowns in Detroit of 2 yards and 13 yards. Swift is burning it. He's amazing. Oh, he's gonna. Wait. Swift's not playing. He's not in the game. That's Jamal Williams with pulling out 2 touchdowns in a game, doing his inner Jerome Bettis for this week and this week only. Those are 2 definite.
I want to say surefire waste of a touchdown, but Jamal Williams already has like 4 touchdowns on the year. He already had like 3 touchdowns previously. So I can't think it's a surefire waste, but I'll say it's a waste of a touchdown.
How about surefire, your bench scored a lot of points touchdown?
Yeah, because I mean, let's be real. Jamal Williams has been very active in the Detroit backfield.
You can see how few dumpster touchdowns there were this week. It was basically names. The last two, I have the next guy. So we're going to let Minnesota play a game with a 28-yard touchdown pass. They pulled out this game. I thought for sure that Detroit finally had it. It's 28-yard touchdown pass. It's got to be Jefferson. Oh, no. Thielen? No. It's Thielen's heir apparent. My boy KJ Osborne, who's sitting on dynasty benches, probably nowhere else. And that is right now for sure, eh? You can't say it?
I will give you this. Surefire way. I will give you this only because I actually started KJ Osborne because I forgot to take him out of my lineup. So, for everybody, it probably was a surefire waste of a touchdown, but KJ Osborne helped me win the league because I forgot to take him out. So KJ Osborne, I'm all on.
I love me some KJ Osborne. I'm waiting for them to stop Thielen because I think KJ is going to take that role. So this will be probably his only one. I mean, I got three guys that I don't think I'll ever be able to mention again. Visca, I think, is going to get the number 2 there. Jamal's number 1 for a while, so he's done. I can't use him anymore. And this last one. This one might be 2 because he might be starting next week. We have a 12-yard pass to the running back from Cincinnati. There goes Joe Mixon getting some of his – oh, crud. We all thought it'd be Chris Evans preseason, but he's been nothing. And it looks like Samaje Perine, who if you have him, it's because it's a handcuff. So that definitely makes it a –
surefire waste of a touchdown. So did what's his face get hurt, I guess?
Mixon went out in the 4th. I mean, I haven't heard anything – concrete about what's going on for him this week. Mixon gets it's an ankle injury, just came out prior here. In between, I've been mowing the lawn. He'll be good to go for Thursday, so it looks like it's okay. His ankle was nicked up, so it's one of those we're going to go in scared because it is an ankle.
Oh yeah. Thursday night, absolutely.
Running into like a solid defensive front, so yeah, that's what we're playing with right now. It's scared running back season. I mean, Swift is out for a couple weeks. We didn't even hit on that part. Like, Swift's going to miss.
There's a couple injuries. Mac Jones is going to be out for a while. Mac Jones sucks anyway.
They're not saying that yet. They're not saying if he is out or not.
I mean, you don't see too many people. Yeah, he sucks anyway. You don't see too many people rolling through high ankle sprains these days.
You see him dancing in the end zone. Mac's got the dance down.
Yeah, he sucks.
Okay, JJ Wang, give us some wisdom as we roll on out of here.
Yeah, weeks like this in fantasy are tough, man. I'm not gonna lie, they can kind of get you down when you think you've made the right play here, the right play there, and you don't. And Matt Collins ends up beating you because some dude randomly started, or KJ Osborne beat you because some dude forgot to take him out of his lineup. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that makes, I mean, it's hard, but it makes fantasy fun. If it was always the top 10 people that finished in the top 10, it wouldn't be a very interesting game, would it? So, I mean, it's hard to enjoy these kind of weeks, but, you know, kind of enjoy these kind of weeks. And hopefully everybody had one of these guys on their team that kind of, probably not, but hey, this is what makes fantasy interesting. And as always, trust yourself and trust the process.